Hello and welcome. My name is Martin and this is a new video. I make videos about EdTech, teaching online and English language teaching. If you do enjoy today's video, please don't hesitate to hit the thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed already, press the subscribe button and the notification bell and you'll be notified when I share another video online. Now, today I thought I would share 10 ideas that you could incorporate straight away using an online whiteboard, and for this purpose I'm going to be using the whiteboard on Preply. I do hope you find these tips and ideas useful today. Now, without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so I'm opening up my whiteboard. Now, the first idea that I've got is Pictionary. Pictionary is a very simple game and it is easy to organise with very little preparation. All you need is a range of vocabulary that you have access to that's been taught previously. So it's a perfect activity at the end of a particular lesson. All you have to do is give the students a link to the online whiteboard or use Preply's whiteboard. And here, let me give you an example. So as you can see here, the student clicks on the draw icon and they could either use shapes or they could use the pen tool. Now, for this purpose, I'm going to be choosing one of either of all these words. Okay, so we've got cookie, milk, water, pizza, present, and cake. Now, let me choose one at random and let's see if you can choose the correct word. Let's choose the correct color. Okay, here we go. And let's get the pen tool. There we go. And you go, ooh, okay, it's circle. There's little things here. Okay. And you go, well, once we've drawn, the student guesses what the object is based on the words, and the student will guess, hopefully, cookie. And so that would be correct. Now, you can use a variety of language. It's particularly useful for nouns, objects, for Pictionary. You could use it for verbs and action words. It requires a bit more creativity, but for elementary, pre-intermediate students, Pictionary is great. For the more advanced students, they need to be a bit more creative. The second activity is correct or incorrect. Now here in this activity, the students have a range of different sentences and they need to check whether the sentence is grammatically correct or grammatically incorrect. If the sentence is grammatically incorrect, then the student needs to correct it. And as you can see on the whiteboard, I've got a range of sentences, 10 sentences, and let's go through these all together. So this is what I use for check-in, either a cross or a tick. And here, I'm living in Paris since 1998. And this one is incorrect. The next one, has Pascal ever been to London? This sentence is, or question, is correct. Now, because the first sentence is incorrect, the student will have to then write the correct version. Okay, and let's get this here. So let's get the text tool. So and let's move the text over. And as you can see, the correct sentence is in red below. So students will just need to go through the different sentences, decide which ones are correct, which ones are incorrect. The ones which are incorrect, they need to correct them. And it's really a great activity for students to generate that awareness and understanding of grammar in particular sentences. The third activity that I would recommend is picture this story. Now, as you can see here on the whiteboard, I have chosen 4 different images. It's always good to choose an image of a person and then 3 different scenarios or activities. The students need to use the images to try and come up with a story. And here we have a picture of a campfire, a picture of an island, a picture of an office worker, and a picture of a boat. So the students need to try and create a story which matches these images. Whilst they're telling you the story, you need to be checking that the grammar and vocabulary is correct, and you can provide feedback at the end. You have all these 4 images, and the student may come up with a story like, there was an office worker who used to go out at the weekend on his speedboat, but one weekend there was a huge storm and the speedboat started sinking. Luckily, the office worker managed to find an island and swam to the island, where he decided to set up a campfire to keep warm and stay safe. He lived on the island for 6 months until someone rescued him. So very basic, simple story, but you get the idea, I hope. The fourth activity that I would recommend for an online whiteboard is a routine or a process ordering activity. And as you can see on my whiteboard here, I've got a variety of different routines, and the students need to put them in order from start to finish. As you can see, I've offered some functional phrases that students could use to describe the routine once they've finished ordering. So students decide right at the beginning which one is correct, and you could say, okay, well, wake up is the first one. Okay, so number 1. Get up is number 2. And you go through all the various different routines, and then they try and explain using the functional language which is the correct order. So you could say, firstly, I wake up at blah, blah, blah. Next, I get up after 10 minutes. After getting up, I have a shower and blah, 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 and they finish the overall function. So that's essentially what students have to do to reorder it. And you're not just constrained by sentences, you can put it with images. So rather than just words, you could choose appropriate or corresponding pictures. So for example, you could go online and search for a suitable picture which would represent wake up, and then the students have to then try and put all these different pictures in order from beginning to finish. The fifth activity that I would recommend is a picture and word matching activity. It's very simple to organize and prepare online, and especially with an online whiteboard, and it replicates a similar activity that's done within physical classrooms, minus the cutting up, I suppose. So here we have a variety of different words. Let me just delete these. So here, do homework, and the student goes, oh, right, okay, that will match this one. And then you've got play video games. Okay, that one is this one. And then go to school. Okay. And then finally, have lunch, watch TV, and then get up. And then you can start to ask questions and extend it if you wish, like what time do you go to school? What time do you get up? What time do you have lunch? And what time do you do homework? What time do you watch TV? And what time do you play video games? So you can extend it like that. But it also generates awareness for students, because images and words are great sources, particularly when they're combined, and pictures always are useful teaching tools. The next activity, activity number 6, is online timelines. Now, for me, I use timelines within a physical classroom, but it can also be replicated within an online whiteboard, I suppose. Within Preply Whiteboard, you have a variety of different tools at your disposal. And the one that really does help is the timeline with the arrow going from left to right. I'll keep it as straight as possible. Okay, so here we have a timeline, and what I tend to do when I draw my timeline is I type in past, and let's copy and paste this. Let's put this now, and then finally future. It's a very simple concept, and students will be aware of timelines because it's it's not constrained by particular cultures or languages. So here, for example, we have the past, we have now, and we have the future. And if I have a sentence that I give a student and I say, I say to the student, okay, so here's an example sentence. Yeah. Yesterday I went shopping with my family and I asked the student, can you draw the particular timeline on this, please? And, they could say, okay, I'll draw it. So let's get the line first of all, and let's go here. And let's get another line. Let's go here. And next, you could get the pen tool. Let's change the color slightly. And here we go. So here we've got go shopping, and it's for an extended period of time. And this would correspond with the particular sentence that's been offered. And I will go, yay, well done, correct. Yeah. So online timelines can be used and extended as much as possible, and it's a great way of checking comprehension and understanding, and also checking the language. And if you have a sentence or a grammar point that you want to teach with timelines, then you could elicit from the student, does it happen in the past? Does it happen now? Does it happen in the future? And when does it finish? Does it finish in the past as well? Does it finish now? Does it finish in the future? So there's a couple of techniques that you could use with timelines. Maybe we could review this in a future video. The 7th activity that I would recommend teachers to use within an online whiteboard or Preply whiteboard is drawing word stress. And it's something that I do in the physical classroom, and I try and elicit from the students the particular word and stress patterns. Here, for an example, I've got a variety of different words. One of them is the same, so let's change that. Essentially all you need to use is the pen tool, or you could use the shape. Let's use a shape this time, and let's choose red. So photography is the word, and here we've got photography. That's not right, so we'll go photography. Okay. The next one, photographic, and then I say to the students, where's the stress? Where's the power, the most, where's the loudest part in the word? In the first one is photography, so the to is stressed and more powerful, and here photographic. Yeah, so there we go, and there we are. And then I get the students and give them a list of different words and try and get them to do the stress patterns on the whiteboard. The next activity, activity number 8, is a disappearing text, and this is really useful for role play or dialogues and getting students to remember and memorize particular dialogues, particularly between two people. And in this situation, I've got a situation where it's in a restaurant and people are ordering food. You've got you've got a variety of different people. You've got Kevin, Alice, Peter, and the wait person, the waiter. You've also got Kevin, Alice, Peter, and the waiter. Essentially, you could use just 2 people if you wanted, but for this purpose, let's say you've got this and you go, okay, you go through the dialogue, student and yourself, and then you remove the first word. Okay, next, once you've gone through each line and removed each word, you go through it again, so the student has to remember what is missing in that word. And then you go through again. Okay, very good, well done. Let's remove the next word. And so on. And essentially, the student and yourself will have to try and remember what was mentioned each line. And essentially, at the end of it, you'll have nothing but a blank space, and the students have to try and remember what was mentioned. But because there's so much repetition, it's great practice for remembering chunks of language rather than individual words. Okay, right. Activity number 9 for an online whiteboard is sentence scramble. Now, this I've used in a physical classroom, particularly on a worksheet, but for this one, you just get a variety of different sentences or questions, and the students have to reorder the words to make the sentence or the question. I've got 2 examples here, and the student chooses the text tool, adds it here and goes, what time do you meet friends? Yeah, and so that would be the correct form. Okay, and we'll move it here. The next one, let's move this down slightly. So, went I morning the supermarket this too. So, I went to the supermarket this morning. Okay, so the really good thing about this sort of activity is it draws awareness and understanding, recognition of sentence structure and grammatical structure and question structure and question forms. And it develops that awareness and understanding, and it's great to get students more aware, particularly with grammar, in this sort of thing. It's much better than gap fills. Okay, the final activity that I would recommend with an online whiteboard is odd one out. Again, another activity I do in a physical classroom, but something that you can replicate within an online environment. You choose a variety of different words. Here I've got 4 different words for each one, and students have to try and, as creatively as possible, explain why certain words are odd compared to the others. So here we've got Spain, Russia, Canada, Africa. And you could say, well, Russia is the odd one out, for example, because it's the largest continent or country in the world. Or you could say, well, actually, Spain is the odd one out because it's the smallest country compared to the other 3. So you have to be as creative as possible and as lenient as possible, as long as students can provide a suitable reason for why it's the odd one out. So you've got to be as flexible as possible. And here, whale, elephant, dog, snake. Well, you could say whale is the odd one out because the others are land animals. Or you could say, well, a snake is the odd one out because it doesn't necessarily have any arms or legs or fins. Whereas the others do. Now, I do hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, if you found it really useful, please hit that thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when I upload another video. Again, thank you ever so much for watching, and if you made it through this video, that's great. And if you have any questions, please comment below and ask your questions. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. If you have any suggestions on any activities that you incorporate within an online whiteboard or online environment, then let everybody know. That'll be great to know. I hope to see you soon. So stay safe, happy teaching, and bye bye.